Hello. Happy Tuesday to all of you. Welcome to Take Two Tuesday here. I always look over here just so you know because I'm checking my sound. My sound gauge is over there, so I know that audio is going out. That is important. Welcome to Take Two Tuesday. Hi, my name's Ken. I'm here at the Stamps of Life in Laguna Hills, California. Just between, if you wonder where Laguna Hills is, about halfway between San Diego and Los Angeles. I want to welcome all of you to Take Two Tuesday here. What we do at Take Two Tuesday, if you are new to us, we go back in time and look at some stamps, some of the time dies, different items from the Stamps of Life that we have released in the past that a lot of you already have. And so this is kind of a reminder for you that you can use these items. And so I'll share some card ideas. I'll show you how easy the items are to use. We'll do all that together. And then for those of you who are new to the Stamps of Life, these items might seem like they're new to you. So this is kind of like a first take at some of these items. So it'll kind of seem like it's brand new because some of these items go back a few years in the past and they're kind of get forgotten. So they're on our website and you can find them and all that. But if we don't talk about them, how would you ever know about them? So that's what we do here on Take Two Tuesday. So we'll do that. We'll take a look at a couple items today. We have a fun game to play. I think we're going to do the Family Feud game that we did before in the past. We'll do that together. And then what else? We have some fun facts. Fun facts or scary facts. It depends how you think about it. And then what else are we going to do? We're going to do our good news segment at the end, which if you're new to us, we open up our Bibles and we just do a little devotional. We are in Proverbs chapter 11. So if you want to read the chapter, even before we get there a little bit later, you can read Proverbs chapter 11, but we're just going to pick out one verse and we'll just do a little devotional, talk about that. And hopefully each one of us will hear from God. That's what we hope for. So I have a icebreaker question because I need all of you to participate. Make sure you do that. Jump in the chat. And I do see some of you there already. So let me say hi to everybody who's there. I saw Grandelia with an early start. She was our first person on the chat today. There's Bear Blue, and there's my post where I don't have to say hi to myself. Carol's here, and Janet, and Diane, sorry, and Dawn. My eyes are not doing too good today. I don't know what's going on. Frank and Sharon are here. Dawn, hi, Paula, Damari, Pamela, awesome. Charlene, Gloria, hi, Gloria. Welcome, all of you. Karen, Marcy, awesome. So I was thinking, I try to find these fun questions to get us started because I need your participation. So make sure you answer the questions. If you're live, you have to answer to keep this show going. we need participation. If you are watching later, you can still answer these questions and then just put your answer in the comment section below. And if you have any further comments, you're just not you want to do something besides just answer the questions, or you have a prayer request, if you watch later, you can put that down in the comment section below. We will watch for those. But we love to hear from all of you guys. So everybody jump in and participate. So this is just for fun question to kind of get us rolling. Do you have a favorite smell and why? Maybe there's a smell that brings up a memory. Maybe it's a food or something in your garden or in nature, something that reminds you of something in the past. Do you have a favorite smell that comes to mind? Post that in the chat. This is just for fun. Get us all involved. I want to hear what you have to say. A favorite smell. It can be anything that triggers something in your brain. Isn't that funny how God makes us that way, that like when we smell something, it can like bring back a memory from the past. I think that's interesting. Or like when you hear a song, it can like trigger your mind to think about something good or bad from the past, depending on how you look at it. But some smell that you like, add that into the chat, you guys. Add that into the chat. I have one. I like the smell of, you guys probably won't think this is really neat, but toast. Like when it's toasted in the oven. I love toast. I don't know why. Just toasted bread with butter on it. But the smell, like even after you toast it, it kind of leaves it in the house. And then another one that came to mind today is I really like barbecue. And I think that's because when I was a kid, we used to go to the LA County Fair, and they had lots of barbecue there. And I just remember the smell of barbecue. and getting to go to the fair and being a kid and goofing off and having fun. Sometime I'd get out of school to be able to go to the fair. It was great. So barbecue now, I often enjoy the smell of barbecue, especially like at an amusement park or a fair or something like that. It brings back memories of being a kid. So tell me what yours are, something that you like to smell. Let's see, we've got a few answers in here. Damari says she's not crazy about coffee, but she likes the smell. She loves the smell. I'm kind of that way too, Damari. I think I drank coffee a little bit, maybe when I was in my 20s and when I used to work at a restaurant. And I like the smell of coffee as well. Sylvie says she likes the smell of roses because it makes me happy. Great. A mowed grass for Barbara. That's a good one. Yeah, mowed grass is kind of fun. And especially in the morning, right? Mowed grass in the morning. The smell of Home Depot. Ooh, that's a good one from Leslie. Dawn says Bombay mangoes. I've heard of mangoes, but Bombay, that's interesting. Jan likes vanilla. Smells clean to me. I like things that smell clean as well. Like any cleaning product. I know it's weird too. Almost any cleaning product. It just makes me feel like my house is clean now or something's happened. So I like that smell too. Deb likes coffee and Carol loves lavender. Grandma's garden memory. Yeah, that's great. Frank and Sharon say lilacs remind me of my grandma. Awesome. Windsong cologne for Vera. Good. That's a good one. Dawn loves roses. Reminds me of mom and dad. Yep. Good ones, Ken. I'm not sure what Barbara's saying there, but okay. Let's see. Karen says she likes lilac. We have a lilac bush outside the kitchen. It reminds her of that spring is close. Carol says the fair. Yeah, elephant ears. Ooh, yep. All right, so that's good. Carmen says gardenias. Great. Fresh baked bread. That's another good one, Sonia. Yes. So we got some good answers in there. It's funny. Everybody can be different too. I always enjoy things like that where we can be different and chat about some things that we enjoy. It's fun. Okay, I want to give you some quick updates here so you know what's going on. Let me see if my name tag is working today. Oh, am I here or not? Oh, yes. Awesome. Ken here at the Stamps of Life, if you didn't know. Hey, our new Fold It Club came out a few days ago. If you're new to us, if you're not, we have a bunch of different clubs. This one is called the Fold It Club. I'll show you here. It's a die set. Some stencils. Stephanie included a couple free stencils and you get a postcard. And I have a couple of the card samples to share with you. But if you are in the club, I mailed about 2/3 of them last Thursday. And then the rest went out on Friday. So if you haven't received it yet, it is on its way. I've shipped them to you. They should get to you quickly if you are a Fold It Club member. If you're not, again, you can go to the website. Let me show you what you would do if you want to see on the website. Let me go ahead and grab that. Where are we? So you can see if you've never been on our website, this is the Stamps of Life website here. And whoops, there we go. Maybe. Yeah, all right. So the website looks, what happened? I got my take two sign here. What happened? Sorry. I'm back. That was not the end of the show, just in case you were wondering. And let's go ahead and now let's try that again. Okay, there we go. I don't know what I'm doing here. You think I'd be a pro by now? We've been doing this almost a year and a half. You'd think I would have this down a little bit better. But anyhow, if you go to the website, this is the stampsoflife.com. And if you want to know about our clubs, you just check join the club right there up there at the top. It will show you all of our different clubs. We have the Die Hard Club Stamp Club. That was the April 1st club. Then this is the new May club, the Fold It Club. This is a monthly shipment. You get the stencils and the dies and a couple free gifts. And then we have the April card kit here. So those are options that are available on our website. And then I'm going to show you these and a couple of card samples here. Let's do that real quick. So here is the Splendid Floral. Whoops. Oh, that's barely going to make it. Splendid Floral and Sunrise Stencils. Those come together. And again, Stephanie said she added a couple extra freebies in there too. So that's in there as well. Something looks different about my lights today. So there's the stencils. And then you're going to get your postcard. It'll have a couple ideas on there. And there are more ideas on the Stamps of Life website, but there will be a couple in your shipment. So you have a starting place. And then you get, it's called Bird and Nest. Bird and Nest. Ooh, that's got a little bit of glare. Let's see. There we go. Bird and Nest Fold It Die Set. Fold Its are nice. They make it like an A2 size card. Super easy. We have so many different Fold Its. If you've ever been on our website, we have a ton of these. And they are lots and lots of fun. Let me get rid of my name there. We don't need to see that anymore. And let's see what we can do. So, no, I don't have that one. Okay, so and then my card samples. I do have a couple card samples to share with you. So the nest, the bird and the nest are separate, just so you know, okay? Number one, the bird and the nest are separate. This one, the bird has been added to it, so you can make it as if it's one. You have to be a little bit careful how high you have the bird standing because it might go outside of the size of A2 and it might not fit in your envelope. But here's the other option. So here's your nest. And I know Stephanie's been talking about this a lot. And your bird is separate. So you can have it up. You can mail it and have the recipient, they can add, excuse me, the bird where they want to. Or you can also just sink it right down there into the nest. And you're set. So you have the options with that. It's versatile. All the Fold-Its are versatile. You can use them in a lot and lots of different ways. So that is our Fold-It Club. Then I wanted to mention that coming up this Thursday, we have a new Die Hard Club and Stamp Club starting to ship. So we did the koalas this month here in April, and that was very, very popular. Well, this Thursday, a brand new set will come out. I'm not sure if Stephanie's doing a reveal tomorrow night. We might have a club reveal for the new Die Hard Club and Stamp Club tomorrow night, but I haven't heard for sure. So watch for that. What do they say? Stay tuned. Stay tuned. That might be happening. What else? The big news. So that's all stuff you can do wherever you are. We ship around the world. We have customers in Australia, Europe, excuse me, Japan, South Africa. I haven't seen any South Africans for a while, but we have had lots of Europe, UKs, of course, Canada, even a couple in Mexico, I think. But we ship, excuse me, I'm going to hit my switch here for my cough button for a second. So we ship international, USA. It's just a little more for the shipping to our international customers. I think 50 cents extra for Canada and like $1.50 for international. So it's not that expensive. We ship them in these little small envelopes, except for the card kit. That does cost a little bit more. So that is coming out Thursday. Don't miss it. Big news, if you are a local, if you are in the area, we are going to have a store day here at the Stamps of Life store. Like I said, in Laguna Hills, California. We're going to be open this Saturday, and we're going to open at 9 a.m. and we'll be open until 2 p.m. Stephanie's going to come in and do a demo, and we will have a couple new items right here at the store to share with you, and you'll get to be the first ones to see it. My plan is to live stream that. So if you are not able to be here, it will live stream, especially for you people who are out of state. Maybe you're in Texas or Florida or New York, or you're in Michigan or Kansas or Missouri, one of those places we used to go to. You'll be able to watch. And hopefully, again, everything works out. It will be live. At the very worst, I will tape it and it will get posted. But I'm hoping to be able to make that live this Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific. Our store will open, and we'll be open until 2 p.m. And then the live stream will start somewhere around 10 a.m. Pacific time, which if you're on the East Coast, that means 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So set yourself reminders for this Saturday. Come by and see us. The information about our stores on the website. We're just off the 5 freeway. It's real easy to get to. Plenty of parking, and we'll have a good time. I'll have the warehouse area set up so Stephanie can demo back there, and we'll have chairs for you. I'll have some sale items outside the store, and we'll have a fun time. I've been cleaning up this place. It's looking pretty good, and by Saturday, it should all come together. Let's see. Do we have anything else that I need to tell you about? I said the store day, the new club set. If you haven't been on our website, I showed you that for as far as the club. And then there are a couple new items from the 25th that are on the website. Brand new items tomorrow night. Tomorrow's the end of April, but actually our release for the first goes on the website the night before. So tomorrow night we'll have our May 1st items on the website. So we have that to look forward to. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and we are going to get started here. We're going to have some fun. I hope everybody will jump in and participate. Do I have a question for yeah, I'll save that for a second, but we're going to do some fun facts here in just a second, but we're going to talk about our first item. And it is the Stamps of Life Mini Pudgie. This is set number 2. If you remember, it's probably 2 or 3 months ago, we looked at set number 1, and they had different critters on it and characters. Our Mini Pudgies are always really popular. Well, here we have the stamps. Remember, our stamps are made in the USA, real nice, high quality stamps. You're going to get great impressions from, and then the dies that coordinate with them. What's great with the dies is they all come with the shadows. So you have a couple different options of what you can do with these. So here, after we look at some samples, I'm going to go over to the workstation and I will show you how to use these real easy. And I think I'm going to do something a little bit different with our card that we make. I'm going to take part of what we create here with the first item and try to add it to the second as we try to kind of piece together a card. It won't be a fully complete card, but it'll give you a kind of idea on how these stamps and dies can work together. Now, if we go to our website, and if you just type in Mini Pudgie, you're going to find it. And I'll show you what you can see here on our website. So you'll see the Mini Pudgies there. And how many stamps? 4 by 3, 12 stamps. So you get all these different guys. And then again, they come on a 4x6 sheet. They're it says about 1 inch tall, just so you know. These are fun to add to the back of your cards as well. Maybe one of these critters is one of your favorite animals. You can add it for your sign off when you finish a card, but you can decorate them. And so you'll see all these card samples here on our website that are really nice. And card ideas are always fun. And I think I have some of these to share with you right here with me in studio. So we'll look at those and just add them to an A2 card. You can put them on a slimline card. Here it is on a flip it. All kinds of different ways you can use these. And you can just go basic, or you can color, look at all the nice coloring that our designers did on all of these little guys. So you can make them look really, really nice. And then if you scroll down, you will see the die set that coordinates with it. Again, the shadows. And then we have Pudgie number 1 and Pudgie number 2. Those are the ones that we had looked at in the past. The fun thing is if you have both of these, you can mix and match them, just because one's on one set, one's on the other, you can still use them together on your card that you're working on. They'll work for birthdays, for Mother's Day coming up, just a spring card, however you want to use them. So those are on our website. Now, I noticed one of these guys is a shark. So, I need to post. This comes from, so if you're wondering, when did these go for sale? Where is that Pudgie? There we go. So these are from back in August of 2021. So we're getting close to 4 years old. So if you're digging down in your stash and you get to that area where you find some receipts that are 4 years old, or you go, wow, I haven't seen these for a long time, maybe that's where your Mini Pudgies are. You might find them down there. But the one Pudgie I was looking at was the shark. So we are going to do some fun facts about sharks. Before we do that, well, I kind of gave it away. Do you have any animals that are in the ocean that you are afraid of? Now, of course, I kind of gave it away, sharks. So sharks would be one. Are there any other animals in the ocean that you fear or that you are afraid of? Let me know in the chat. Add that in the chat. If you're watching later, add it in the comments. Are there any ocean animals that you are afraid of? Now, there are a couple that come to mind to me besides the shark. So I think we're all going to be pretty much on the shark, but like killer whales, those guys kind of scare me a little bit. Let's see what else. Eels. I don't know why. I just don't like eels. They're just creepy looking. What else is crazy in the ocean? Oh, stingrays. Yeah, stingrays. Stingrays, I don't think they're really mean or anything, but an octopus, that's a good one. Yes. Damari says octopus. That is a good one. I didn't think about that. And yes, I love the hula. That was my next one, jellyfish. And they're so cool and fun to see, but then when you see those little tentacles, they can sting you. Yeah, Sonia said stingray, and Sylvie said jellyfish also. Who else? Anything that touches my foot. Yeah, Betsy, that's right. When the water's dark and you don't know what's down there, that's a good one. Your mind can go kind of crazy with that. Beer Blue says stingrays. So you guys got some good ones. Leslie said also anything moving. Cheryl says she's sorry she's late. Don't worry about being late, Cheryl. You made it. Eel, said Don. Yeah. Monterey eels. Yes. Green monsters. Ooh, says Jean. I'm sure there's some other ones, but those are the ones that come to my mind, but especially sharks. So we're going to do some fun facts for sharks here. Let me find that. And they are, of course, kind of interesting and weird, but I'm sure they'll tell us we don't have anything to be afraid of. But if you saw the movie Jaws, then you better be afraid, right? Better be afraid. Okay, going back over here to our fun facts for sharks. Shark's skin feels like sandpaper. Sharks may look smooth and sleek, but close up they are anything but. They feel exactly like sandpaper. Isn't that weird? I would think that their skin would be kind of soft. Shark skin is made up of millions of tiny scales called dermal denticles, which are actually modified teeth. Yikes. Hammerhead sharks, that's this guy right here. They have a 360-degree field of vision. They can see everything in front, behind, above, below them. Amazing. So they can see all around them at all times. And it says, imagine having a hammerhead as a parent. Ooh, bummer. This is creepy. Shark embryos, that means they're inside their mother, I guess. They attack each other in the womb. Yucks. Are you competitive with your siblings? Sharks are aggressive and competitive even before they are born. Shark embryos are well known for fighting with each other. Shark embryos cannibalize their yikes. They are really crazy. They're the other ones in the litter. The largest embryo eats all but one of its remaining brothers or sisters. Wow. Talk about a tough way to start off your life, right? Before you're even born, you get eaten. Cookie cutter sharks steal flesh from live prey. Ooh, I got to read this one. I told you these sharks are creepy. Cookie cutter sharks grow to less than 2 feet, but have the largest teeth relative to body size of any shark species. Why? Because they grab a bite on the go. Cookie cutter sharks specialize in taking circular chunks out of living prey. Ooh. It swims up to its potential victim and latches on like a sucker, forming a tight seal. Then its huge bottom teeth. Okay, I'm not going to read any more of this. That's scaring me. Great white sharks can go weeks without eating. One shark species famous for eating habits is the great white. This powerful predator is perfectly evolved into hunting down large prey. They can go 3 full months without eating. Wow. So if you meet a great white shark and you just ate, you might be okay. But if he hasn't eaten for 3 months, look out. Whale sharks have tiny teeth around their eyes. Ooh, this is a weird one too. I think this is a whale shark. But it says, yes, you read that correctly. Not only can whale sharks protect their eyes by retracting these tiny teeth, they also are surrounded by hundreds of dermal tentacles. That's what we know. We heard the little teeth. These sharks can live up to 130 years old. Wow. Sharks are older than dinosaurs. I don't know exactly how old dinosaurs are, but here they say 400 million. I don't know how they got that number, but anyhow. Let's see. Sharks they are in the top 10 oldest remaining species on planet Earth. The type of shark with the longest average lifespan is the Greenland shark. It is estimated to have a life expectancy of how many years do you think? 250 to 500 years. Wow. I guess nobody would be around to know how old it is, right? Because none of us lives that long. Some sharks don't swim. The bamboo shark has 4 fins that it uses to move along the seafloor. I guess it's kind of like crawling. It's called like a carpet cleaner or something. Sharks have upwards of, this is going to hurt, 40,000 teeth in a lifetime. Ooh, they have 7 rows, go up and back with 45 to 300 teeth in various stages of growth. Ooh. It says for a shark, they can end up having between 30 and 50,000 teeth in their lifetime. I guess that's why they like to bite people. And then lantern sharks light up to attract prey. Talk about a glow up. It says we will keep it. The lantern shark might not be the cutest of the sharks, but it does hold one pretty spectacular talent, and that's where it says it lights up somehow. The lantern shark uses this ability to attract other creatures towards them, and then goomp, goners for those guys. So if you see a shark lighting up in the water, stay away. Sharks do bite. We know that. Don't let them take a chunk out of you like that one. They can live to be really old. And if you ever get close enough to pet one, expect it to feel like what? Sandpaper, right? So sandpaper, you heard it here first, right here on Take 2 Tuesday. All right, let's take a look at the stamps here real quick. Oh, and I do have a couple of card samples to share with you. We saw the ones on the website. And let me show you here as well what's going on. So here we have bear hugs to you. And we've got our little bear and our little koala on that one. That's great. And this is a really nice one. It reminds me of, when you see that grid, what does it make you think of? I think of like the Brady Bunch. Or what else? Going back way, and I'm testing you guys. Brady Bunch, Hollywood Squares, something like that. That's what that grid reminds me of. Does it remind you of anything? Hello. Ooh, look at this one. This is one of those colorful ones where I said our designers really, really did some nice coloring. Let me try to fix my camera here real quick. Oh, I better not right now. We'll let it go. And then thinking of you. Kind of welcome to a home. That's a nice one on a 5x7. So we've had 2 5x7 cards, and we've had 2 A2 cards. All right. So very versatile. You could add it onto could go onto a fold it card. It could go onto a flip it, a slimline card. I didn't have any slimline samples here, but it can fit on all of these. So this is a very, very versatile collection. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of the stamps. We'll stamp them right now, and we'll move over to our crafting table here, and I'll keep those off to the side so you kind of have an idea of what we're working with. And need a little bit of space. My machine is in the way, so let's get that over here. And we can lay these cards around so you can get an idea of what we're working on. Again, this is the Mini Pudgie Set 2. We did Set 1 earlier in the year, but today we are looking at Set 2. And I'll zoom in just a tad. Let's get some cardstock out. Again, when we're trying to put this together with the item we'll use in the second item we'll be working with today. So I'm going to get this. It's kind of like a banana. I would say I think this is banana from our cardstock line. And we're just going to stamp a couple of characters. And let's see, which guys would I like to use? What combination would look good? I think I had a nature one. So I'm going to use the bear up here and the raccoon and the deer. So I'm thinking like forest animals. That's what I'm thinking. Forest animals to add to my card. And I'm going to have 3 slots when we make the card. So 3 different places that we can put these guys. So we need to stamp all 3 of them. So if you're new to stamping, this is photopolymer. They are slightly, not sticky, I would say, but they adhere. So this is called a clear block. And you just add this stamp onto your block. And then next, what you have to do is get ink onto your stamp. So then you just are going to turn around and stamp your image onto your cardstock. So that's what we're doing right now. So I take this, when I put the stamp on it, it's face up, I turn it over, and now I'm going to get some ink on there. And I want to make sure all the lines are inked up real good. I'm going to do a test off here down kind of to the bottom, to the side. That looks good. And then I'll do my real image. And hopefully you can see okay. Let me zoom in a little bit more again. So you can see what's going on here. Here we are. Okay, hopefully that looks good. Whoops, getting out of focus. I see camera does not like that. Let me get my hand on here. Maybe that'll help. There we go. All right, I inked up my bear. I'm going to add him over there. And usually if I put like a lid or something on here, that'll keep us in focus. That will help. Okay, so we did the bear. Now we need to find the deer. Let's get the deer off of here. I'm going to take that. And so we don't lose him, we'll put our bear back on. And now we have our deer. Deer next. We're going to stamp him next. And we'll do the same thing. We're just going to stamp it down below for a little test. Looks good. Let's go ahead and do that again one more time. Get ink all over there. And it's important when you stamp, give it pressure on all sides just to make sure that all of your lines get inked. Good. One more to go. Now, next we've got our bear, we've got our deer, and our next image we want to have is the raccoon. Again, we're thinking kind of like forest animals. So these guys all kind of coordinate together. Of course, you could use any pattern, or if you just have a favorite, you can use any of these guys on your stamping project, your card. No right way or right choice on this, just what your preference. So I'm stamping down here again below. Looking good. And this again is our raccoon. Okay. And I'm going to just put that down there. Great. We're off to a good start. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come back to these images. And so I've got these three, and my card that I will be making will have 3 spots. So we're going to be able to take these guys and use them in a little bit. So we're going to come back to these 3 guys. But we've got that step done. Let's go on and check out our next item. Let's do that now. So also here, we are going to be looking at, and I will fix that when we go over there. I'll have to zoom back out. So we have our images there. Let's see what else. Our images I'm going to use. Then, we're moving on to our next item, and we'll look at that, and then we're going to play our game. So get ready. We are doing Family Feud today. And historically, we have done really good on Family Feud. Some of our other, what did we do last week? It went okay last week, but there's been some tough ones. Some of our quizzes, our fails, but Family Feud, we are winners. So we're going to play against, I think we are going to get to play against somebody today. So I think both times we played, we have just dominated. So we'll work on that together. Now, the key on Family Feud, before we get there, start thinking about this. They ask a survey of people. And so you have to guess what other people think when they ask them the question, like, what is your favorite color? Well, it might not be your favorite color, but what would the general survey think? So think about that before we get to Family Feud, okay? All right, our next item, moving along as we are checking this out. Hi, Polly and Cindy, great. Let me grab the next image here. It is a slimline, and it doesn't call it a drop-in, but it's kind of like a drop-in, but I will show you what we have here. Where is that? It is the Triple Circle Slimline die set. And it's a little bit different, but if you like slimline cards, this is an easy way to really add something extra to your slimline. So you have, this is the die set. It comes with this main kind of like a grid die that will cut out your 3 circles. And then you have some layering dies too. So let me find it here on the website, because I didn't even count myself to see just how many dies you actually get. But okay, here we go. Back to the Stamps of Life website. And you can see it has the Triple Circle Slimline right there. It is from October of 2020. So just about 4.5 years ago, we added this. And it, again, is a great way to add a little something extra to a slimline card. 7 dies are included. Let me show you the card sample so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is going to layer on top of a regular slimline card base. Okay, Stephanie has a video there from Crafting Corner, and it's going to cut out these 3 circles like this. Well, here is a great underwater. If we would have had our little shark guy, we could have added him into a scene like that. Some flowers being used on that, and you can go vertical or horizontal with the slimline dies. And here's another one, back to our little fish. I think that is our fingerprint stamps and dies. So different ways you can use that. The key to know when you are using this die, if you already have it, or if you think you might like it, because again, it's on the website. Let me show you. You are going to need this type of die set to go with it. This is called the Slimline card die set. Now, this is just kind of like our basic rectangle. We also have some with some curved edges or scallops. So we have different versions, but you have to have this because you need this large die here. You need a large die to make the base of your card. And then you also need this, one of these inside panels in order to cut this out. Because otherwise it's just going to kind of emboss. It will kind of emboss if you just use it by yourself. You might find some use for it, but you really want to combine it with a slimline card die base. Okay, so you know, and I'll show you when we get over the table what you have to do with that. I do have a couple of samples here to share with you. I think, let's see, 2 of these were website ones, and I think 2 are different. So let me show you these card samples real quick. And then I think before we actually do this part of the die cutting, we'll play our game. Okay, so that's coming up. So let me show you the card samples that I have here for you. Let's do that. Maybe. There you go, Ken. Okay, and we have our little stage. And I'll scoot in a little bit closer. So here you have 3 images, which is a nice balance. Stephanie says you always want to be like 3 or 5 or something like that. You don't want to have even numbers, she says. So here we have odd, and the circles will always be odd like that because there's 3 circles on here. Whoops, there's that one there. Kind of like a desert sunset looking card. That's nice. It says, make today amazing. This one was happy birthday. So different ways. Again, you can use a happy birthday card. Just saying hello, saying this day is amazing. Here it is. You are awesome card. We'll have to go this way with this one standing up. You've got all those circles in there. You can see how it layers. And here we have our, this one, I think, oh, this one says hello, so it's got to go that way. Another vertical card. And then our last one, which is also a shaker. See that little shaking in there? Cool. And you can see this one says, you are fantastic. So this is an example. It'll work with the curved. If you have the curved slimline die, it would work with that. If you have just the straight edge, which we're going to use the straight edge today, it would work with this. Ooh, my colors are a little bit off today. That should look more yellow than green, just so you guys know. Let's see, did this blue? The blue looks pretty good, but that, that yellow looked kind of weird. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. Well, I'll work on the color later. We don't want to mess with that. Just leave it alone, Ken. Leave it alone. I try to make everything as best as possible. And I think I had to use this camera for something else, and the color got adjusted a little bit by itself. So this is the Slimline Fold It. And again, it not Slimline Fold It, the Slimline Triple Circle. Again, it has, you can see, let me show you over here on this stage. If you can see, it has the main die here, right? And then it has the layering dies inside, so you can really layer those circles. Lots you can do with that. I'll just show you a basic way how we can do that here in just a minute. Okay, we're going to come back to that. All right, it's time. It is time for us to do our Family Feud game. So let's give it a shot today. Let me grab the game here, and then I'm going to try to share this screen with you. I'm going to get this chat ready. So get ready, you guys. If you're watching, you got to help me out, okay? This is where everybody is going to jump in, and we're going to try to get the best answers. And we are limited on time with this one, which is kind of fun. It gives a little bit of pressure. Oh, I remember last week we did like logos, company logos or something like that. And We spent a couple of them. The logos were hard, and we didn't get them. There was the very first one was for Marriott, and I mistyped it, and we would have got that one right, and we wasted a lot of time on that one. And then we got a bunch right, and then we got stuck on a couple, but it was kind of fun. But here, I'm not going to say it's pressure, but we got to answer fast. We don't get to goof around. Otherwise, our opponent is going to destroy us. We don't want that to happen. We want to be the winners today, right? We're going to go out on top. So let's see what the category is today. All right. Am I signed in? I think I am. I'm hoping there's no commercials here. Okay, and I'm going to share the screen with you so you guys can see what I'm looking at. So let's do that. Here we go. I'm going to share a screen. And we want to share screen. Yes. Okay. And we are sharing Family Feud. Again, we played this. You guys probably all seen Family Feud, but just think like other people would think. I mean, you might think just like them as well, but we got to think beyond just ourselves. So here we go. Share. Let me see if you guys can see it. Okay. All right. We've got our game there. Family Feud. And we are going to start our game here. Let me see if I can get rid of any of those extra commercials on the side. I don't think I can. So you guys, you'll just have to ignore all this blinking crazy stuff on the side. But I am going to get the chat set up here and get our game going. And we are going to press play. I think I can see all your answers. You're almost. Okay, here we go. Oh, I have to sign in. Sorry, I didn't sign in. I bet they're going to make me watch a commercial again now. Sorry. Let me try to fix this real quick. Sign in. Yeah. I signed in earlier, but they must have signed me out. Darn. Okay. Okay, here we go. I think I already watched the commercial, so maybe they're going to let me go. View all. No, I don't want that. No. All righty, here we go. Maybe. Let's. It still says sign in. No. How do you say it? Aaliyah. All right, question. Here we go. Name a job that teenagers do when they need money. Job when teenagers need money. I'm going to say mow lawn, okay? Mow lawn. Who else has an answer? What do teenagers do when they need money? What do teenagers do when they need money? McDonald's. Wash cars. Okay, that's a good one. Wash car. Let's try that one. Anybody else? Shovel snow. Ooh, babysit. Wait, what happened? Wash car. Oh, no. Oh, that was a no. Wow. Babysit. Okay, well, anybody else? We're off to a slow start here. I didn't see it. Babysit. Anybody else? I know you guys are saying McDonald's. I don't know they're going to be that specific. Let's see. Lifeguard. Detail. Darn, McDonald's have counted. They didn't get it either, so that's the good news. All right, we're winning so far. We are winning. We're up 58-48. 58-48. Ask Grandma. Good one, Carmen. Don says do chores. You guys all have a good one. Fast food. I would have thought that too, but retail. But again, that's what other people said, not us. So I guess we don't think like everybody else. Next round. Here we go. I might be double points. Next round. Question. Double points. Yes. Here we go. Name something you might want to have straightened. Ooh, something you might want to have straightened. Hair, right? What else? Something you might want to have straightened. Do we have any others? Teeth. Ooh, that was a good one. Did they give us this one before? Teeth. Anybody else? We did hair. Clothes. Clothes. We can try. Like iron, is that like straightening? Yeah. House, maybe. Let's try. No. Anybody else? Shoes? Shoes, we'll try. You got 14 seconds. I don't know any other ones here. Straighten out your shoes. No. Hair, we said hair. Finances, let's try it. No, finances. I didn't get that one in. Sorry, my fault. Bumper, nose. Okay, bumper, nose. Oh, it's really close, 240 to 238. So we've got to pretty much win this one. Eyes, that would have been a good one. Bones, yeah. Their room, desk, tie. You all guys all have a lot of good ones, but that's not what other people answered. Okay, here we go. This is it. This is our last. We're ahead by 2 points, but if we don't win this round, we're not going to win. Triple points, I bet. Triple points. Here we go. Name a food that gets sliced. Food that gets sliced. Food that gets sliced. I'm going to say meat. Who else? A food that gets sliced. Tomato. How about tomato? Anybody else? Watermelon. Let's try watermelon. It might be fruit. Watermelon. Oh, no. Fruit. How about just fruit? Tomatoes. I said tomato. Cheese. Ooh, that's a good one. Cheese. What else? Carrots. Carrots. Sliced. Carrots. Carrots get sliced. I don't know. Pizza. Ooh, that's a good one. Pizza. Good one. Who said that? Pizza. Lunch meat, deli meat. We can't get number 1 or 5. I don't know. I think we're going to lose, you guys. Cake. Cake and bread. How can we miss that? How can we miss bread? Look at that score. Look at that score. 432 to 412. Now it says fast money round. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to click on it, okay? How can we not get bread, you guys? How can we not get bread? All right, fast money round. What is it? Earn 100 points to win a bonus. Name a job. We already had this. Why are they asking us this one again? Sorry. Okay, we're done with that one. Let's see. Where am I? Well, we won today, right? That's all that matters. But bread, yes, Barbara, you should have told me bread a long time ago. I can't believe we didn't get that one. Okay, we're gonna remove that one, and I'm back. Okay, so we did it. That was good. We did good except for the bread. We should have got that. I was just talking about toast earlier. There's just no excuse. That was like the easiest one. I guess all you had to do was think of a sandwich and you would have got most of them. Bread, meat, cheese, tomato. I was also thinking of an egg, but that did not show up on there. And I would have never got cake. But I can't believe I didn't get bread. That is sad. All right, let's go ahead and get these dies out and get to work. We are winners today. So if everything else goes wrong today, or seems like things are falling apart, remember that you are a winner here at the Stamps of Life with Ken. You guys have some great answers, except for bread. I'm not going to excuse any of you or me for not getting bread. That is terrible. That is terrible that we could not figure bread out. Terrible, terrible, terrible. But all that matters is we still won. We still did win. All right, we got to zoom out. We're too close now. Too close. And let's get our die machine here. So remember in the first half, we looked at these Pudgies, and we're going to use these 3 guys here, these critters. We want to cut them out. So first off, we are going to get our die machine here. I'm going to get these cards out of the way because now I do need some space. Let's get these out of the way and move our machine over. Don't forget, we have our good news segment coming up after this. We'll be reading through verse from Proverbs 11, but I have a couple really good companion verses to go with it that you'll definitely want to hear. So the one verse will be real short and we'll get right to the point, but we have enough another couple verses that really go with it well. So we're going to check that out. All right, here we go. So you remember, now we're focusing on this die set, combining it with the regular slimline. Okay, so you have to have the regular slimline base, and you need an inside panel, which is all included. So if you have any slimline sets, this is going to work. This is kind of like the drop-in part of this. So we're going to go ahead and grab this out. Now what I did was this large die here, I have already die cut. And I went ahead and created a slimline card. Again, this is with the large outside die. It cut this cardstock for me, and it scored it for me, so I could just fold it in there. This type of card would fit in like a business envelope. You've seen these kind of envelopes. So there we have, this is the base of our card. Next, we want to use this die, the triple circle, and we want to add in, we have to get this smaller die here that I was telling you about. And so you can see how this fits. I'll give you an idea how it's going to work out. So this die fits right inside the large slimline, which we don't need that anymore. But you can see this die is going to create something, whoops, that we can layer on the top of this card. So that's what we're trying to do, is create a layer. So for example, I'll bring one of these cards over here that are already finished. You can see how our designer made their base, and now they made their layering die. And that is what we are going to do. See how the 3 circles are in there? We're making this part here to layer on to this card. That is what we are doing right now. All right, let's go ahead and so we have our card base, and I'm going to use some, just for fun, I don't know how this will turn out, some pattern paper for the front of our card. So I am going to grab this sheet here, and we're going to run it through the machine. So we have the triple circle die, but we need, in order for this to cut out, we have to have this outside die. Now, if I want it to really come out nice, which I kind of do, let's go ahead and hold this in place with some washi tape. Do that, and I think we can get this. We just have junky pieces of washi tape here, but I think they'll work. So I'm just trying to center it and make sure that it's kind of close. Now, if we were making a card we wanted to give to somebody or share with someone, we'd really want to make sure this part was done really well, so the card doesn't look like it's all out of balance or something like that. So I'm just adding a few pieces there. We've got the dies here. They're face down, so they will cut into the cutting pad below it. Then we add a cutting pad on top. And we're just going to run it through the machine there. And I'm not even sure about my color combinations that I picked, but it is what it is. We'll see if the colors look good in the end or not. Okay, so I run that through, and we'll see what has been created here for us. Great, it's looking good. This is our extras, and I don't know if there's any way we could use this, but it does produce 3 little extra circles. We'll get that out of the way. And this is the piece that we wanted. And let's get the washi tape off here. Take those pieces off. And that there. Okay, we will not need this die anymore. We're done with that one, so we'll set it off to the side. And we will not need this one any longer either. And we'll put this off to the side. And what it's created for us is this nice layered die here. Looking good so far. All right, we're on the right path. We just need to get some adhesive on here, and we will be able to tape these together. So let's do that. And I can scoot this a little bit so you can see what's going on here. And I should, just to be careful, I don't want to get this all crazy messy. My die cutting machine is use a piece of scratch paper underneath. So let's do that. Let me find a sheet of scratch paper. I've just got some white. Again, this is just scratch paper. We're just trying to prevent the glue from getting onto the machine. So ideally you would move the machine out of the way, but we need it still, so you would have a workspace on your table where you wouldn't get any glue on your machine at all. So I'm going to add some of this adhesive onto our triple circle. And we will take this and add it right onto our card front. Pretty easy so far. Make sure it's pretty lined up and square, not square, in a correct rectangle shape. Good. And I'm just going to I'll kind of burnish it here a little bit. Really press down to make sure that stays. All right, there we have kind of the base. Now we need to add our images. We're off again to a good start. There is our card base. I'm going to keep that weighted down over here. Next, we want to take our little images and we need to cut these guys out. So this is where I can get those layering circles. Now, of course, you could do a lot. It has 2 sets of each here. So you could go a couple layers, but we're just going to do 1 layer. And I'm going to use the smaller circle from the inside. And we're going to, maybe not. I think I might have to use, well, that's cutting it kind of close. I think that will work out just right. So we're going to get all 3 of the small ones. We wanted these guys to coordinate. Now that guy's really close because, you know what, I'm going to switch because I'm afraid his antlers are going to get cut off by the die. So we're going to have to use the larger dies. Switch it up. Because after I've done these nice images, I don't want to take a chance of cutting off part of them. So let's make sure we get these lined up. And I can set this off to the side. And we definitely will want to use washi tape on these ones to make sure they stay in place. Each little image will get its own. And we're going to cut these out. And then what we're going to do is to give a little bit of depth or interest to them is we are going to use some adhesive foam behind them. And you'll see it'll give a little depth, a little extra interest to the card. Now, our guys are just black ink with gold background. You could do any color you wanted in the cardstock, but of course, you could color these too. If you are really good at coloring, or you just have the patience to do that, or you enjoy coloring, you can make these guys look a lot more interesting. Like, do I have a good example? I don't have a good sample with, well, like our samples that we had, here they are. If you wanted to take some time to color, you could really make your little critters look really, really sharp, fantastic. Extra interest when you take some time like that. Here we're just doing with a basic image just to show you how these dies can work together. Now you see one of my pieces of washi tape is getting old. So that really caused that one just to move around by its own. We don't want that to happen. You want to keep those guys somewhat centered. Okay, here we go. We're going to run these. They look pretty good to me. And we don't want to do this whole piece of cardstock. Just again, saving time. We're going to go back this time in this direction because we just need this little section of these guys to be cut out here. All right, let's see what happened. Okay, there's our raccoon. I'll get him off of there. And what else do we have? We're going to get our deer next. Again, we are thinking kind of theme for mountains, nature, a nature scene here. All right, we've got these 3 guys. Now we've got to get the adhesive foam behind them. They're all circles, same size. Let's go ahead and get this machine out of the way. Maybe. It's getting crowded here by my feet. Even though I'm cleaning this place and trying to get it organized, there is still much of it that is disorganized. But by Saturday, it's all going to be looking good. It's going to be looking good in here. Now, there's this mat just kind of gives us a place so where we know that we're working. Now let's zoom back in again and see what we have going on here. Oops, there we go. All right, we did our images. We have 1, 2, 3. We have our card base, maybe where to go. Good. So we just want to get these images applied to our card. Here I have my adhesive foam. And what I'm going to do is just, with some scissors, I'm just going to cut out, make my own. Maybe you've heard of adhesive squares. Well, you can use our foam and just create your own little squares if you like. And that is what I'm doing here. So I'm going to cut those. And I'm going to take one of these squares. They're going to be sticky on both sides. Peel off the paper so we can get to the adhesive, and then we're just going to, I'm going to add that to the back. So I add that right there, and here we go. We're going to put our deer right here on this side. Good. And now let's get our little bear, and he needs a little foam piece as well. Did I lose it? Looks like I lost one of them. Let's try again. I'm going to cut another one of those. Oh, there's the other one. And we will peel these off, add that to the back. Got that on there. There's my bear. I can take him and add him there to the center. Good, good, good. So you can see just how that gives a little bit of depth to the card, a little more interest. Flat cards are fine, but I always think if you want to make a nice card, if you can add just a little depth to it, a little dimension, it's really going to make a big difference. Here's our last one. Whoops, I did have one already there too. And we'll peel that off both sides. This stuff's easy to use, guys. If you're not using adhesive foam, give it a try. And of course, adhesive sheets, I always recommend those a lot. And then we're just going to add our little raccoon on there. So there we have the basic of our card front. Maybe I can add a couple of little epoxy dots here. What could we do? So just for fun, maybe will those show up? I think they will show up. Let's see. Let's try to add. Got one little heart there. Stephanie is saying go 3, 1 heart there. And there you go. So off to a good start. If you want to add more epoxy or something, that white's not looking too good to me. But I should have picked something different than the white. What else could I have used? Ooh, I have this spark. No, that wouldn't work there. Oh, yeah, if I would have done these, this would have looked really good, right? Some sparkly stuff. Let me fix that. Can't go wrong with sparkles. So we've got our 3 little stars here. That will make it more exciting. So there you go. Add your images. We use the mini Pudgies with the Triple Circle Slimline. Remember, it kind of drops in, so you have to have the main card base in order to do that. And then just add yourself some little embellishments here. You could add something off down on the corner. I do have a couple other little stars that maybe I want to show you just to balance out the card a little bit. You don't have to go crazy, but you can have a really nice card. Now imagine if you had taken the time to color these little guys and then you add a little note on the inside, you're good to go. You could even use one of these images if you want on the back when you sign off and you say made by. You can add your extra there. So that is a fun way to use the Stamps of Life mini Pudgies with the Triple Slimline card die set. And again, a reminder, you need the larger slimline card base in order for that to work. But it's kind of a fun combination. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. I had fun making that card. It was even easier than I thought. Even easier than I thought. All right, where are we? Here we go. Okay, if we're going to wrap things up here, we're going to do our good news segment. We are going to do our good news segment. Christy said, what was the question that you asked everyone? I said, do you have a favorite smell? A favorite smell. And if it reminded you of something, you can add that into the chat. So that was at the very beginning of our show. Do you have a favorite smell, something that you enjoy or reminds you of something or brings back memories, something like that? Your favorite smell. It can be anything. We were thinking nature things or food things or out in the wilderness things, all kinds of different things that maybe bring back a memory from childhood. It can go all kinds of different ways. Now, I do have a question for us as we're getting ready for our good news segment. If you have a Bible, I'm using today my tablet, and we are in Proverbs 11. We're making our way through the Proverbs. For the next couple weeks, next week, if you want to read like chapter 12, 13, maybe 14, we'll probably find a verse out of there that we're going to look at. But today, our verse is going to be, let's see, I should be able to find it here. We are looking at Proverbs 11. Let me get rid of that, and I'll put our Take Two Tuesday up. I'll tell you the verse here in just a second. But before we start into this verse, well, I'll throw that up there and then we'll start our chat. So Proverbs verse 11, verse 24. So it says, there is one who scatters, yet increases more. And there is one who withholds more than is right, but it leads to poverty. So we'll have a little question, and we don't always do this, but sometimes we have a question even about our Bible segment, our good news segment. Do you have in your past, or maybe it could be recently, or maybe when you were much younger, or maybe just sometime in your past, but something that stands out? Do you ever recall I lost my question. Do you have a memory? So here we're talking about scattering, and think of like a farmer. He's scattering seed all over the place, and he is being generous with the seed that he's scattering about. And he's being generous in the hopes that the crop, if you scatter a lot out, right? If you're generous with the seeds, there's a good chance you're going to have a crop that is growing with great abundance and is fruitful. And this farmer, he's scattering, but he's not just throwing it out haphazardly, but he has a plan and he has a goal in mind. And as he's scattering, he's being generous with the seeds, with the expectation that the crop is going to come in really big. But before we get to that and talk more about that, I was wondering, have you had somebody in your life that was really, and you can add a comment if you would like in the comment section, or maybe this is just a spark of thought. Either way, we love to hear your comments, but if it's kind of personal, you can keep it just personal too. But do you recall someone being really generous towards you, or do you recall somebody being really generous towards others in such a way that it impacted your life, or it causes you to remember that event? Did that ever happen to any of you, where you saw somebody who was being generous? Now, of course, I've seen lots of examples of that in my life, in my own family, friends, people who care about me. Lots of people have been nice to me, but I especially remember this one time when I was probably like 10 or 11 years old. My dad used to have this purple van that he would drive. It was kind of crazy. It was back then, they had like portholes on the side of your vans, and they would put carpet on the inside. And so he had it all fancy. But we opened up the back of this van, and there was all of these toys in there. There was like skateboards and balls and baseball equipment, just all kinds of toys and stuff. And my dad hadn't said anything to me about it. And I think we just closed the doors, but I was thinking to myself, oh, this is great. I'm going to get a lot of cool stuff. I don't know, maybe my birthday or Christmas or something was coming up. But what ended up happening was there was not too far away from us, there was like this, it wasn't a boys shelter, but like a boys camp, like maybe young boys who had kind of gotten into trouble in their lives. And I don't think it was foster care, but it was kind of something like that. And anyhow, what my dad did was he took all of these toys that he had purchased and he took them to the kids there, the boys that were at this camp, school, whatever it was. They were kind of underprivileged. And it just really impacted my life as far as seeing somebody being generous. And so that was something at a younger age that sticks out to me that I remember, is my dad being generous towards somebody we didn't even know, and we probably would have never met. I think we just dumped all the toys off at the office, but I knew what they were going for. And so it was fun to think that I was going to get all of these things for myself. But when I found out they were for somebody else, it made even like a bigger difference. So that was an example of me seeing somebody be generous, where it impacted my life, where it's something that I remembered and thought about. And it causes me to want to try to be generous as well. So we had that main verse there where it talks about scattering. And what number was that? Verse 24. And so let's talk about that some more. I will find that here for us. So we're thinking about being generous ourselves today, okay? So this guy, again, we're thinking like in an agricultural society. So they're thinking farmers. The farmer goes out, he scatters, he has a plan. He's hoping for good things to come from his crop. So here we go. So we want to be generous like this farmer. Like we're talking about this farmer throwing out lots of seed. We have expectations that something good's going to come out. And you know what? When we are generous towards others, that's what our goal is here. Now we're transforming the thought of being generous as far as planting seeds to now we want to be generous towards people. We want to be generous towards others who are in need. We want to look for ways to help people out. So we're talking about just scattering it, not in a wasteful way, but in a way that we expect God is going to do something good with it. So our plan would be, hey, we want to go out and we want to be generous towards people who are in need. Well, you know what? When you do that, when you start producing fruit in your life, good things, good works in your life, God says he's going to bless it. And it says, God will bless our generosity. Did you know that? So here it says, here the guy is scattering and you think, oh, he's giving it all away. But as we are generous towards other people and we give away what we have or we share or we help others, God says he's going to bless that. And as we're trying to be generous, it says to increase more, he can do it. He can bless us beyond even what we expect. Now, I want you to know, when we think of being generous, of course, the main way I think we can be generous is financially, right? We can help do a lot of good with money or material things, but you can also be generous with your time or your energy or words, or there's just all kinds of different ways that you can be generous. But I want you to know that when this is key, because I don't want anybody to be tricked or anything. God says he'll be generous towards you. Might he give you a lot more wealth? He might. Might it be blessings in other ways where you might be healthy, or you'll have great family relationships, or maybe some other material things will come your way, or you'll have spiritual blessings, or God will answer some prayers. I don't know how the blessing will come. How God will do that in your life will be different for each of us. But if we give away a lot of money and we don't get back a lot of money, let's not be disappointed. God's going to bless us. He says he's going to do something. He's going to be generous towards us. And when we think about, God has given us everything, right? He has been so generous to you and to me. And so as he's given us all this and entrusted it to us, how can we use it to bless the people that he puts in our lives? How can we follow the model that God has set towards us and be generous towards others? So we're trying to follow the example that God has set towards us. And as I said, one day we have to give an account for all that God has given to us. And I don't think it's in a way that maybe we're going to get in trouble because God, I don't know if God's going to say, well, why didn't you do this? Or why didn't you do that? Or I gave you this chance. I don't really think it's going to come down to that, but more God is going to acknowledge the good things that we did with him. Now, we might at some point notice some missed opportunities. That might be kind of disappointing, but we're not going to be totally bummed out about it. We're going to do the best we can, right? And that is our goal. God's been generous towards us. He's given us so much. If you live in the United States, whether you have just a little bit or you really have a lot, or maybe you're somewhere in between, you have way more than 99.99% of the rest of the people in the whole wide world. If we live in the United States, if we have a home or clothes or food to eat, we have so much more than other people. So God's blessed us. He's been generous towards us. Now we want to do good with what God has given to us. And like this verse here, it says, when you scatter and you give it out, the increase is going to come. But excuse me, note that warning. When you withhold it, what did it say? When you withhold it, like you keep too much for yourself, it says it leads to poverty. It leads to poverty. So we have in mind, well, I'm just going to save this for myself or keep it for myself, or I'm too afraid to give it away or share it with other people. I might not have enough for me. It says that's going to lead to problems, leads to poverty. You know, just as easy as God gives us all these things, God can also take them away. So we don't, there is a part, it says one who withholds more than is right. So to let you know, there is a part that you can keep things for yourself. We need to be responsible for taking care of our family, providing for our needs. We want to be people who pay our bills. Maybe we have a house payment or rent payment or car payment. We made these commitments. We want to make sure we have enough for these. The key is, take care of your responsibilities. Be responsible with what God has given to us. We don't want to mess that up, but we don't also want to overextend ourselves either, where we're just living on the edge and there's nothing else to be generous with or give away to others because we've used it all on ourselves. So we have to strike that balance, because just like it warns us there that if we withhold too much and keep it all for ourselves, it's going to become a problem for us. It's not going to be good. So make sure that you pay attention to that warning. Now, these key verses, I come from the New Testament that really relate to being generous. So I wanted to share them with you. And I think it'll be a good way for us to wrap up this thought of being generous with the expectation that God's going to do it. So let's read these together. So we're going to the New Testament now. And we have this verse from 1 Timothy chapter 6. And we're reading the New King James Version. It says, here we are. So command those who are rich in this present age not to be haughty, nor to trust in uncertain riches, but in the living God, who gives us richly all things to enjoy. See, so we're rich. We've established that, right? Just because we live in the United States, we're like really wealthy people, but God has given us those things to enjoy. So let them do good, it says, that they may be rich in good works, ready to give, willing to share, storing up for themselves a good foundation for the time to come, that they may lay hold on eternal life. So our status, some of the blessings that we will receive eternally come with what we did with what God gave us here on earth. So it says, be rich in good works, be ready to give, willing to share. That is how we impact our future blessings that God wants us to have here on earth and also in heaven. So that was one key verse. And then this last one to wrap it up. Whoops, we did that one. Here we are in 2 Corinthians. I just heard this. I thought I had everything I was going to kind of talk about today, but then I came across a pastor, I think, talking about this verse. But it says, this is from 2 Corinthians, also in the New Testament, chapter 9. But this I say, and this really relates to what we were talking about. He who sows, that's kind of like planting, who throws out the seed sparingly will also reap sparingly. So not much is going to come out of your crops if you don't throw out a lot of seed. And he who sows bountifully, who plants a lot, will also reap bountifully. The crop will grow tons and tons. So let each one give as he purposes in his heart, not grudgingly or of necessity, for God loves a cheerful giver. I think that's a great way for us to wrap it up. Let's be cheerful givers, not because God is making us give or somebody's demanding us to give, but let's be generous and giving people, and let's do it with a cheerful heart. Just again, remembering that God has given us so much. He's been generous towards us. Let's try to be generous towards the people that he puts in our lives. Let's make a difference in this world. It can just start with us by doing it with a cheerful heart, right? A cheerful heart. That's real important. Let's give with a cheerful heart. All right, that is it for today. I hope you had a fun time here. I thank you all for joining me. What do we have going on tonight or this week? We'll do Crafting Corner, I know for sure, Thursday. And then we are going to possibly have tomorrow night with Stephanie a club reveal. That is possible. I'm not sure. I know we have some other things going on tomorrow night, so I'm not sure what the schedule will be. Last week, we had to come on at like 6 or something, so stay tuned for that. But we'll have Crafting Corner. We'll have new releases on the website. We see if everybody's doing okay here. I hope you all have an awesome day, and that you will be blessed. Sorry, Sophie, that's a bummer that you feel that way. Let me see if I can block that one out. Yeah. Let's see if we can do that and delete a couple of those. Sorry, you guys, about Sophie jumping in there. That was a bummer. But hopefully God will do something in her life that she'll know she needs Jesus, because Jesus does love her, and she loves you, and she loves me too. So sorry, guys, about the extra comments that were in the comments today, but we will try to take care of that. That's the first time I've had somebody jump in there like that. So bummer, Sophie. All right, all the rest of you, thanks again for joining me. Have a great and awesome day. And I hope we had a fun time together looking at the items we checked out. If you have those, break them out and use them. That's what we're doing. Just trying to remind you to do that. Break them out and use them. And then if you want to get them, they're on the Stamps of Life website. All that. You can make an easy card just like I made. You can go crazy and make it real super beautiful, or you can make it real basic like I did too as well. Something for everybody. Okay, I will see you next week. Thanks again for joining me here on Take Two Tuesday. Have a wonderful day. God bless each of you. Look for ways that you can be generous. God wants to bless you, and he loves each and every one of you. So thanks again. I will see you next week for Take Two Tuesday, Thursday for Crafting Corner, and have a great week. Okay, I'll see you. Bye-bye.